Hi, I am Andy Gorelow, the incident meteorologist on the Coffee Pot, here with your daily weather update. So just taking a look here at satellite imagery this morning, we can see actually a lot going on. If you look out here at the coast, you see a lot of low clouds and fog, which is typical for this time of year. A lot of the inland valleys are filled in with fog this morning, but as they go on through the day, expect that to burn off. If you look over there on the far edges of the TV here, you'll notice a lot of smoke across far eastern Inyo County, eastern San Bernardino County, and across southern Nevada. Where we're located, our fire is basically just right in this area here near Three Rivers, California. Lots of clear air this morning in the San Joaquin Valley, but if you look real close right here, you can see a little bit of smoke from our fire from this morning from some operations they ended up doing last night. So with that, we'll go to the next slide. So just going into the weather for the next couple of days, we're going to start seeing some big changes. So here we are today. We're kind of under this influence of high pressure. That's why we've been so warm. We've had some gusty afternoon winds. It's been pretty dry. But if you look up here, we're starting to see just the beginnings of our next weather system that's going to move into here starting tomorrow and especially on Wednesday. There we look on Wednesday, you can see that high pressure gets pushed off to the kind of the south and west, and you see this area low pressure here kind of starting to dig into the Pacific Northwest, and that's going to bring some big changes to our weather. And with the next image, you can see here, this is just a temperature trend for the next few days. Here we are today. This is basically for one of the areas on the fire at about 4,500 feet, but a high today about 85. But as you can see, we drop about 6 degrees on Wednesday, another about 6 to 8 degrees on Thursday. So pretty significant cooling over the next 2 to 3 days as that low pressure moves in, and then we kind of stabilize through the weekend. And you can also see with the relative humidity, we tend to get a little bit more moisture, and you can see these humidity levels are actually going to start going up, which will be very helpful for the fire. And then the next slide, next week we actually have a little bit bigger system coming in. It's a pretty strong low pressure system that's actually going to dive a little bit further to the west. And when that happens, not only will we cool down even more, but we'll also start to introduce at least a slight chance of precipitation. And that's something we're going to be looking at towards the middle part of next week. So at the last slide here, this is just a temperature trend over the next several days. You can see it's pretty hot here, and then we cool down a little bit here the next couple of days. We kind of moderate. With that next system coming in early next week, we're going to drop roughly about 20 degrees from what we're seeing today. And here we go down here as we start to get into next Monday. You'll start to see at least a slight chance of precipitation. Not a lot at this point. It's not a great position of this low to bring a lot of precipitation, but we're looking at the potential of at least some light rain for the fire area into next week. And with that, have a great day. And next we will talk to Julie with Air Resources.
Hi, Julie Hunter, the Air Resource Advisor for the Coffee Pot incident. Air Resource Advisors, we collect air quality data. We have monitors around the perimeter of the fire. We forecast for smoke impacts, and then we communicate these smoke impacts to the incident management team, other regulatory agencies in the area, as well as the public and then visitors of the park. Slide. This is the air quality index. You'll see this on our forecasts. Good, moderate, unhealthy for sensitive groups is when we start to be concerned about sensitive groups, which are children, adults with asthma or lung disease, COPD, things like that. When we get into the unhealthy range, that's when we're really concerned about everyone. As you see in the air quality, the last couple weeks have been unhealthy, and as you'll see, we're starting to clean up into the good and moderate ranges. This is a picture taken on September 1st, just to show you the difference in the smoke impacts. This was taken on the east fork of the Kauai River on September 1st. Next slide. And this just shows you, this was taken yesterday by Rita Clipperton on Eden Creek. You can just see we're still having some more smoke, but definitely not as much smoke impacts as we were about a week ago. And as this incident goes on, you'll notice that I've changed the forecast area. So yesterday we were forecasting for 10 sites. Today I shrunk that a little bit, getting Mammoth and Oakhurst and Bishop out of the forecast range and focusing really on those locations that are closest to the fire, focusing on Three Rivers, Hammond, and Giant Forest, which tends to get the most smoke impacts. Just to show you the trend over the last few days, this is Three Rivers air quality. We're getting unhealthy and unhealthy for sensitive groups on September 1st. You can see here we're in the moderate to good ranges. Next slide. Again, same trend with Hammond. We were getting some really bad impacts, very unhealthy. The week before that, there was hazardous conditions. And again, you can see that we've cleaned up into the moderate and good ranges. And the last slide here is the same trend with the Giant Forest. Getting some really good air quality here with those operations that Andy mentioned. We might see some more impacts today, but we're really starting to clean out. And that's your smoke forecast for today. Next, we'll hear from Rita Clipperton, long-term analyst.
Hi, my name is Rita Clipperton, long-term analyst on the coffee pot incident. So I look at longer-term potential for fire behavior, generally from 3 days to several weeks in the future. So today I'm going to be sharing some seasonal trends and outlook for the area where the coffee pot fire is burning. This first graph it shows drought, historical drought in Tulare County from 2020 to present. Currently the area of this incident is not in drought. It's abnormally dry, but no drought, and not predicted to develop drought this year. I want to point out that the years 2021 and 2022 were exceptional drought, and locals from the area probably remember the KNP complex in 2021, and that fire was burning in an exceptional drought year. Next slide. This graph shows a seasonal trend of fire danger over the season from May through October. The red line at the top is the maximum value for that date since 2014 for this index, and the gray line would be average. So currently this year, you can look at the green line and see that we are very high, nearing the maximum value for this time of year for potential for large fire spread. Also, something I'd like to show is that generally this time of year, it's normal for that potential to gradually decline through the end of the season, where we would get rain normally in the end of October or the beginning of November. Next slide, please. Here's an outlook for the area for large fire potential. You can see that September, here's the area where the fire is burning. And September has a larger than normal potential, and then returns to normal in October, November, and December. I would like to point out that in these areas where there is large fire potential farther into the end of the season, those are primarily driven by grass and fine fuel growth, and so where this fire in the high elevations are burning in timber, that's not as likely this year to develop into large fire growth. And that concludes my briefing.